Okay, so we have just done progression with a lot of chords, and now it's time to apply it within context. Most commonly in the exam, you're given a soprano line to harmonize. In this case, you have to plan your own chords, and then you have to plan what you want to write. The key with choosing the right chords is so as I said with the chord before, if you're leading up to a perfect or plagal cadence, you want to have a minor triad somewhere in between, so you add a bit of interest. And if you're ending in a perfect cadence, make sure you precede it with like um, 1 or 4, 1B or 4, 1 6 or 4 6. Um, Also, when you're planning chords, thirds, you can do voice exchange with two chords in first inversion, as they switch with as they kind of like they exchange voices with the bass, as we've talked about before. Um, in this case, one, I'm just marking scale degrees right now. 2, 7, 8. 1 to 3 can be leaded 1 6 to 1 voice exchange, and now 2 7 8 we can use chord 2, chord 5, and chord 1. Maybe chord 2 6 would be even better. So why did I choose these chords in particular? But firstly, that's a third there. So if I make the moving country motion, it'd be a voice exchange between first inversion and 1. That's going to sound good. I have a 2 there as a minor chord leading up to a first inversion. I could have used instead of 2 6, I could have used 2, but 1 to 2 sounds weak. 1 to 2 6 sounds better. Let's do that. So now we've got our chords, we just need to start with the bass line. So that's our bass line, and now we work backwards. Always work backwards because it makes life easy. So starting from the perfect cadence, which we do know how to write. G. B. G. 2 6 to 5. Yeah, it's okay. 1. And as part of first inversion voice exchange, we keep those two notes the same. So that would sound like this. Notice that our minor chords add a bit of a twist before it gets resolved by a perfect case. For example, 1 1, that's normal. The minor triad adds a twist to be resolved by a perfect cadence. If you're going to have a minor tri, I suggest you put it one or two chords before a perfect or plagal cadence, or any other cadence for that matter, because then you get to see it be resolved. Hopefully that makes sense. This one, there's a twist. You can ignore that note. It's what we call a passing note, and it's not important. It's not important as part of the melody. So maybe here's another helpful guide. If it's in 4/4, harmonize every single note every single main beat that they give you in the soprano line. But if they have any quavers, you can treat that as a passing note. Passing note it's not part of the melody, and you can treat it as just something that adds a bit of interest to an otherwise, I guess, boring melodic line. So you don't make the cadence for that. You still need a cadence here, but you don't base it off this note. You base it off this note. So basically, pretend that it's as if that wasn't there. That looks like a perfect cadence. Let's use 1/6. We can use 1/6 to 1 again here. Voice exchange, normal. You know what would be really creative? Then 2/6. That's creative, but it sounds weak. Why? It's because you have two of the exact same minor triads next to each other, right? If you're going to do voice exchange, I suggest you do it with major triads, because a string of minor triads in first inversion sounds weak. Also, we have two first inversions next to each other. Not a good fit. I mean, it's creative, but it's not a good fit. So instead, you can go with something else. For example, 1, 4. Let's see. Is there such what? Like I would think that possibly sounds nice. As a bonus, we have the soprano and bass moving in contrary motion. Also, the first inversion gets resolved onto a 5. There is no minor triad here, but that's okay, because this in it of itself is a very good progression if you know what you're doing. Also, by the way, when you're doing stuff like this, I recommend writing out a chart, like 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. G, B, D, E, C, E, C, E, G. 5 is D, F sharp, A, and 6 is E, G, and B. I recommend writing out a chart like that so you know what notes in the soprano can go to what chord. So writing out a chart like this would probably help a lot. So what do we have here? Let's work back to front. This is a supertonic to tonic perfect cadence. So that means we need to triple the root. And remove the third of chord 1. Does that ring a bell? Supertonic, tonic. It's remove, so you keep the third, you omit the fifth in chord 1, and you triple the root, and everything else goes as normal. There is a leap of a third in one voice. Yeah. So that's when we did perfect cadences. And now 4/6. And here you see why it takes a bit of trial and error to get things like this correct. Because what is this? Fifths present in the same voice, moving in similar motion. That's a consecutive octave. There is a cheeky way to fix this, and there is a right way to fix this. The cheeky way to fix this, is that in major triads, the cheeky way to fix this is that in major triads you can double the fifth. Yes, there are a lot of double rules. In major triads, you're allowed to double the fifth. In minor triads, you can virtually double any note. In first inversion, you can double any note. In first inversion and major triad, you can double the third and the sixth. In minor triads and first inversion, you can double any note, and in minor triads, you can double the first and the fifth. Yeah, it's confusing.
What did I miss?
Not a lot. It's okay. The cheeky way to fix this is to double the fifth in chord 5 instead of the root. So it becomes DFAA. The right way to fix this is to change the chord to completely something different. I cannot be stuck to do that right now. I'm just going to keep going. So here we simply double the fifth instead of the root. Yes, you're allowed to do that. In fact, I think I've got to send this document to you. Right, so essentially do anything at literally anything. Double a different note, change a chord, whatever, to avoid consecutive fifths and octaves. Essentially, you want to avoid consecutive fifths and octaves at all costs. The golden rule, avoid consecutive fifths and octaves at all costs, means you double a different note or choose a different chord to get rid of the consecutive fifths and octaves. Look at this. Double check with another chord you have double. Good doubling means you have double the root, should be your first to go. If doubling the root creates consecutive fifths or octaves, choose another note to double. All right? So double the root would always be your first choice, unless it clashes and it creates a consecutive fifth or octave. In which case, observe doubling rules, potential 6-4, no. Yes. In which case, double the fifth is your second choice. So that means if doubling the root creates consecutive octaves or fifths, double the fifth. If doubling the fifth still creates consecutive fifths or octaves, change the chord entirely. It means the chord does not fit here and it's not a good fit. Even though the chord might sound nice, if it creates consecutive octaves or fifths, it's a no-no.
Wait, can you find me? Sorry.
Octave and fifth present in the same voice, moving in similar motion. Here. So we continue A and D. What's this? There we go. So let's choose a different chord. Does doubling the fifth work? Is your next check. Does doubling the fifth work? Yes, it does. But you gotta be careful.
But there's sure the F and the S are just on like A and B.
You don't want to double the same note in two consecutive major chords. Otherwise, you're still going to create consecutive fifths and octaves. So that means the only way to solve that is to change the chord. Got it. I'm going to advise chord 2. 1 to 2 sounds bad, but only if the 1 to 2 sounds bad only if the soprano is going up. If the soprano is going down, you still have to be careful. Make sure you don't create consecutive fifths between 1 and 2. It's kind of like between 4 and 5, it's also very easy to create consecutives. So now that we've changed the chord, since there is no longer any consecutive fifths, I'm going to go back to doubling the root here. E.g. Yeah. Now I can put an A here and an E here. 1. This is kind of unconventional. That's okay. G. As per voice exchange, it's inadvisable to use the B one more time. So unfortunately, the only other way to avoid consecutives. No, we don't double anything. We can only double the root here. And although it is inadvisable to double the root, it's not recommended. It's not inadvisable. It's not quite recommended to double the root. In extreme circumstances, it might work. Here's another way to do this. another way to do this is instead of treating that as the main note, we can treat this as the main note of the cadence. We call that accented passing notes, and that means that we form the cadence based on that note. For a start, you're not going to be given any passing notes in grade 3 theory, hopefully. But it means, yes, a very small chance that there's going to be passing notes in the exam. But if you do, I would advise you to be careful. I'm gonna keep it like that because I don't like having to I don't like having to show the concept of accented passing notes to you guys. So I'm gonna keep it like that. I'm quite happy with it for the time being. Let's see. Well, that works pretty well. Yeah, that works pretty well. So there's two things to take away from these two examples. Firstly, if you end it in a perfect cadence, you can try and have some kind of resolution in between. Secondly, if you're do anything to avoid consecutive fifths and octaves. So that's the only main biggest rule. Consecutive fifths and octaves absolutely are not allowed. Do anything to avoid them. Double a different note, treat a different chord. In grade 4, 2. In grade 6, 6. Why? Because it's a very big mistake to have consecutive fifths and octaves. What you mean, like why can't you have consecutive fifths and octaves? Yes. Consecutive fifths don't have tonality. It sounds horrible because you don't hear the third of the chord, which is the cipher of whether it's a major or minor triad. Here, instead, you hear the fifths. It sucks. If you have consecutive octaves, it effectively becomes three-part harmony because the frequencies of a perfect octave is exactly the same as the frequency of the note an octave below it, just doubled. So therefore, your ear doesn't pick up on the doubled vibration and treats it as three-part harmony instead of four-part harmony. Essentially, it has everything to do with the tonal quality of consecutive fifths and octaves. They sound horrible, which is why they're completely frowned upon, and they subtract a lot of marks if you happen to do it. So avoid consecutive fifths and octaves at all times. Moral story. Moral story. Yeah, moral story, essentially. Let's take a look at another example.
Wait, does tubing work for music
Yeah, you can use tubing.
But isn't it like it's use it or
Yeah, you can use it. You can use 6B if you want. What?
you just not use like chord here, like chord 7
Chord 3 and chord 7 are not allowed. Chord 2 is not allowed in a minor key. I doubt you'll be given a minor key question on the exam. And chord 2 and 2B are not allowed in a minor key until grade 5. Grade 5. And chord 3 and chord 7. Chord 3 is not allowed until grade 6, and chord 7 is not allowed until grade 7. What do you do? What grade did you go? 6. I finished 6. What are you doing now? I'm considering doing 7. It's a bit of a waste of time though. Seven takes like a whole year to start. So
But did you reach like university?
partly. Okay, with this one. So use the notes they give you in the soprano line. If you think something is a passing note, miss it. I would suggest that that might be a passing note, but the rule, you might think that that is a passing note, but passing notes always have to lead on, go down to a chord. You cannot leap to or from a passing note. So you cannot leap from a passing note. So therefore, that note is not a passing note, and we have to harmonize it normally. We're in D major, so chords. I'm going to use 2, 5, 1, 1, 6 to 2, and then voice exchange. You the notes, there are notes there to make the music flow smoothly, to avoid any large leaps or gaps. Usually in exam, you can choose to avoid passing notes if you have reasonable suspicion that you believe that they are indeed only there as a passing note. How can you be suspicious that a note is a passing note? Firstly, it's moving by step down to another chord note. Secondly, it's there is no chord in particular that's suitable to harmonize it, and even if there was, it doesn't sound good when like, or it doesn't sound good overall, because at this point you should know what chords sound good with one another and what don't.
It's steps down to a
Steps up or down to a main chord note. Steps, not leaps.
Steps up or down to
A main chord note. And another main indication of a passing note is that it is on a weak beat of the bar. It is on a weak beat. A, D. So always write the bass line first.
You always want to do the first line first, or is it just like recommended?
No, just do the bass line first. So, okay, essentially, step 1, plan chords. Once you have your chords, bass line should be easy. Step 3, do the cadence first and the preceding chord. Step 4, add inner parts, working backwards. Five, check for consecutives. So that's step by step, essentially.
So it's steps, not tips and tricks.
Steps. Tips and tricks.
No, we don't. I need to copy.
My pen is destroyed. Then let's do it and rebuild it. Let's do that. Let's just don't use it. What the heck? Just don't use it. The chord preceding. Okay, no, cadence first. Oh yeah, you should have written out a chart. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Remember to write out your chart first. Actually, yeah, that should probably be the first step. Step 0. Chart. Chart of chords. By that I mean this. D, F. I mean it helps you. G, B a lot. D, E, F sharp, G. G, B, D, A, C sharp, E. It's a pencil, not B, D, F sharp. Okay, perfect cadence first. It's an A. E to F, A to A. Always check for consecutive fifths and octaves. Racking. No. It's like it's like one of those movies from like 1960 where the screen just keeps going.
No, that's not. But I was saying that it's color. Fine. 1920.
Yeah. G. Put a B there and a G there. I'm gonna start with the A and the D so that voice exchange works. So when you're doing voice exchange, start from voice exchange from root position to first inversion. Start from the root position chord because you need it. You should have all the notes in the root position chord, but you don't necessarily need all the notes in the first inversion chord. I mean, you do need all the notes, but you can choose which note you want to double. With a root position chord, you don't necessarily have that kind of freedom. So, but like typically in voice exchange, especially if you're using chord 1, double the sticks.
Can you write it down?
Hmm?
Can you write it down?
No, can you just go on? I need to continue. Can you just go on to the one note or something? With this one, soprano line. That's clearly okay. Where we are in probably F major. Yeah, F major. Chart of chords. B, C, E, G, and then E, F, A. There. We have our chords. Hmm. I'm thinking, good for a. Yeah, you know, let's try. Instead of doing this as a perfect cadence, I'm gonna do this as an interrupted cadence. Yeah, the interrupted cadence works. So normal rules still apply, but there's something even better we can do here. 4 to 5 to 4 6. And since we're still moving in contrary motion, that's going to sound really good. There is opportunity for voice exchange here, possibly. And I am going to use, you know what? No, we're going to use voice exchange here. As always, planning chords takes a lot of patience, and you need to account for a lot of things. Like you always need to account for like whether the chords they're gonna sound nice together. If there's gonna be like any clashes, is the chord like appropriate for the cadence? All that. There's a lot of things to account for when you're planning chords. Let's do 1 5. So 5 does work. In general, you kind of want to avoid having two first inversion chords next to each other. It sounds quite weak. So two first inversion chords next to each other is a no-go. Please don't do that. Now we just keep planning our chords. This is moving in contrary motion. We have voice exchange happening here, and that's also moving in contrary motion. Plan your chords in contrary motion where possible. It sounds really good. Okay, start from the cadence. Remember that in interrupted cadences, we need to double the third. G here, E here, interrupted cadence, and now 4 to 5. This is a typical imperfect cadence. Just do it normally. You still have to be aware of consecutive fifths and octaves. Yeah, contrary motion, it's great for eliminating consecutive fifths and octaves. Voice exchange happening here. The soprano and bass moving in contrary motion, doing voice exchange, really good. And now 5 to 4 6, you got to be careful not to get any consecutives. And I'm a bit desperate, so I'm going to triple the roots.
You should triple the root?
Yeah. Okay, fine, let's do this instead. Maybe there is no need to triple the root there. Yeah, there is no need to triple. We're going to use C. Now check for consecutive fifths. The trick for checking consecutive fifths and octaves is to look at any voices that are moving in similar motion. and then check the interval between them. So what are we looking at? That's moving in similar motion, that's moving in similar motion. There in 6, that's good. That's moving in similar motion. There's no fifths or octaves there. Similar, but there's no fifths or octaves. Similar, there's still no fifths and octaves. Be careful there, but that's a sixth, not an octave. That's a sixth, not a fifth. Okay. So this is how that sounds.
Wait.
Um, Infinitely dropping cadence. That's good training because now we need to deal with what you have when you have, for example, two musical phrases. So what happens when you do have two musical phrases, like for example in here? You paste it. You paste the screenshots, not that.
Yeah.
Command.
Huh?
Context.
Yeah.
Command.
Yeah. Stop being an Apple user. It's called control.
Control the. Bro, you gotta use the key. You gotta use the actual key.
Bro.
You gotta get presentation of you, bro. You're gonna take self, you know.
All right. Clearly G major. So our chords. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. We have G, B, D, A, C, E, C, E, G, D, F sharp, A, and E, G. Essentially, when you have two phrases as indicated by the slurs, these aren't really slurs technically, they're phrasing markings. The hint is that phrasing tells you where the cadences are. So there's a cadence here, and a cadence, and a cadence here. By the way, that's a planar cadence. So we have two phrases here. We plan both the cadences first. So we plan and write both the cadences. In the middle, it has to be either an interrupted or imperfect cadence. I choose imperfect. No. Voice exchange here. And now the cadence point here, you can either do 141 or 1641. I choose 16. I'm gonna do 2, 5 here, 1, 6, 1, maybe even 1626, 1626. Instead of that, we have okay, 5 doesn't work because we're moving in similar motion, and when we play our chords, you have to try and make it move in contrary motion. So 5 doesn't work. For the D, we could use 1 6, but 1 6 and then 2 6 sounds a bit weak. Do we have any other choice? 5 doesn't work. Maybe we do have to use 6. Or even better. No, we don't. No, we don't. Nah, don't do that. 4 5. And what's good is that we're this time we're still moving in contrary motion. How do I know? Because basic's weird. Okay, work backwards from the end or from a cadence point, any cadence point. I choose this one. I'm going to start from this one. No, wrong note. We're gonna write we're gonna write the entire bass line down first. You see this? Repeated notes. You can't use the same chord for all of them, otherwise it'd sound extremely boring. So use different chords. When you have different notes. When you have the same notes, I mean. When you have same notes, it actually does give you some chance for a bit of variety. Yeah, it gets really interesting when you have that. Um, 2 6. I don't like how 2 6 works there. As always, it takes a bit of trial and error to get it correct. I'm gonna use an A there. D, C, and then we have our bass line. Next step. Choose a cadence point. I'll start from here. We're gonna work backwards and harmonize this small phrase, and then we're gonna work backwards from the next phrase. So, I don't know, F here, A here. So always be careful with consecutive fifths and octaves. G, that doesn't work. We're gonna use E there, C there. It's okay to have a third of a leap, but anything bigger might get you into some trouble. D, G, G, D. That's fine. And now make this a B, make that a G. G here, C here. Make sure everything goes down. That's crucial when you're writing 4 to 5, everything goes down. Look at this, sixth. We have a sixth between here. Consecutive sixths are fine, consecutive thirds are fine, just not consecutive fifths and octaves. So what happens if I do this and this like that? 1, 2, 3. That's technically not consecutive fifths or octaves. I mean, that's technically not consecutive octaves because the voices themselves aren't moving. So technically, that's fine. D, E, no. This E, E could work there. I'm thinking. No, let's actually do this properly instead. D, B, C, E, that works. So it works, but the only way to make it work is if we double the fifth instead of the root in chord 5. So it becomes like that. 1, and we need a lot of G's. That's good. I'm thinking. There's a better way to do this. There is a better way to do this. Instead, yeah, no, there is an even better way to do this because that's between the A and D right there. That's a leap of a fourth. Undesirable. Maybe if we backtrack a little, yeah, I probably should have worked backwards. Yeah, I should have worked backwards. Maybe if we backtrack a little, keep that as an A. In a minor triad, you can essentially double almost anything. C, E, there. If that becomes a D again, now everything works even better. So what do you think? Let's play the whole thing. I'm quite happy with this. And before that, check with executives. Voices moving in similar motion. Definitely there, but that's the state progression. So that's good. That's fine. C to E, D to F is fine. A to C, Nothing there. That's a fifth. Okay. No voices going to it. The that's a fifth. That's okay. Fifth there. There's no voice going to it. There's no other fifth going to it, and it's this is gonna sound quite hard. Imperfect cadence, and then next phrase is that adds some interest, and then kind of triple play the cadence more. Yeah, you have it right. Sure. Yeah, so someone vandalized. What happened? And this time it was vandalized. Oh yeah, Chloe, did you see this? Okay. You can have a look at it. It's for you, Lucas, for you. It's for you, and it's for Michael and Phoebe as well. If you bought your computer, so you can. What happens? Is that?
That's an iPad.
Can you log on?
The extra
I can give you Wi-Fi. You can take a look at the assignment.
I don't have a class.
Okay. Here. Here's the club code is there.
I need Wi-Fi to open.
Lower.
You know Wi-Fi? Of course he does. He's literally a 14-year-old petty boy.
Well, don't stop. What? Huh? What?
Don't look at it. Wasn't down. Don't look. Wow, there's
Fucking sad.
Maybe stop. Yeah, don't. I just realized. Do you guys have a pool in the house? What? You just realized? Yes, I just realized.
Choose the other. I can install.
What are you doing? I don't know how to talk like what all you do. You hear that? Where was he? So
very original song made by us.
he did that to me in the comeback. Yeah. So I put full stay.
Very original.
Hey, yesterday. When she was taking a shower, he said, there's like
Ding. Ding.
and then shower. I don't go to the cold slide.
That's
No. Thank you that. And then he freaked out because it was really cold. And then like I just saw you.
Guys, you like my original?
Oh yeah, because
You like my original? Okay, you like my original song?
Slim already. It's on. It's oh my god. Jason is not. I don't know.
Oh God.
I haven't. Oh, he's the guy who came in.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Ye-
That guy.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Stop.
Yeah, when's Michael coming back?
Michael's right here.
What should I say to everyone? Stop. I can't join because I'm doing my school.
Oh my God.
Take the L. Yeah, please. I don't know my.
Can you log into the webcam?
Wait. Yeah. Yeah, the email from my student. Yeah. Yeah.
He's here.
I know. One big physical class, bro. Stop bastard.
So do you hang out with Emily a lot? Do you hang out with Emily a lot?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I just how far can you go? 9 months. Go speedy Gonzalo. Doesn't work. Sweet. Michael, what's up? Yeah. Oh my God. How did he not open the camera? Why did they not open their camera? No, yes. Michael be like, what is it? Oh, the switch
What are you? Dot.
No. Screw you, Michael. Oh, that I love you. Come to physical class. Oh. Bro. That you and Daniel's aim are just like each other.
Michael Jackson.
Okay. But you're gonna do it now.
I didn't do that.
I don't know.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Like school.
Yeah, it is. Oh, we should have wolves. It's really cool. Yes. Look, your reaction a little bit.
The other way that.
You know, actually,
Then college is college.
And my motivation was a message.
No, I think it is.
I didn't.
Okay. Your task right now is to sit down and we're gonna be doing some questions. Sure.
Ego.
What the heck?
Chill.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
This guy
The task right now is to choose one of these to do. You have the soprano line. Luckily, what? What?
I'd rather do something.
Okay, well, I mean, like you have 15 minutes, so they don't like one.
Thank God. Very broad. Why don't you do a message? But. Did I say this? No, it's cold here. As always, I did it once, and I never decided to do it again.
cold. You don't have to use
Michael.
Is it broken? The game is a
Right. Yeah. And also, I was just dying, bro.
How are we doing this?
Passion, very much on passion. Passion. Everyone.
You know what's funny?
No, I
do
don't.
you know if you can programming?
What?
Do you know if you can programming coding?
What?
Or do you know if you can do like programming?
Well, let's begin
I did.
In programming? Python.
No, John.
It's fine to do that. I can get into it. I'm just like,
Okay.
Laura.
whatever. It's not important, but like essentially in programming, for example, if you have like a list of things, the index of the first item in the list is not one, it's actually zero. So if you want, if you had like, yeah, whatever. But essentially what's funny is that programmers, their first step is always zero.
Oh, yes.
It's not one. Did you know that?
We know computers take it different.
Yeah, because computers take it different. So if you wanted to have index number
Watch
one.
it. This is scary. Not programming.
Okay, I'll stop.
Well, you know that philosophers are paid to think about why is why.
So we can this one on the spot.
No, well,
In there, I have a list.
Yeah, you can do that.
your philosophers are
Baseline 3.
Louis. Louis. Do you know what a philosopher is?
Yeah.
That's not studies for
Do you know? It's someone that gets paid to think.
Someone who gets paid to think.
Yeah, and they question what philosophers think is what's why. Why means why. Why does why mean why? That's what they think.
You know, it's like rare in the world that people get paid to think.
Yeah, I know. There's some.
That is.
That's a great. That's a
It's me. Like what the actual?
No, they don't.
Yeah, the actual. Like
You know what? How people get paid to have their money. You know what a prostitute is?
None of my best.
They get paid to, do things. They do the forbidden dance.
Ain't no way.
You know what a prostitute is?
Oh wait, I'm
Would you do something to bring for a piece of change?
I mean, like, I like that, but $100.
You're too young to understand this, stupid. You can't, you're too young to understand what this is. You're not the same age. No, little mind. Yeah, he is. Your little brain can't.
No, I think what's basically the same thing as my brother does. Inappropriate. Keep my.
What? What did your brother watch?
So.
Like, what did your brother watch?
I just very impressed. I got the it's just like.
Louis, what do you watch?
Huh?
What do you watch? Something different. Or do something great for
I'm single. Two. Who was saying that?
what? Look at Look at it. I was supposed to do what's up on the screen.
Huh?
I was supposed to do what
You choose one.
I just don't. Yeah.
Harmony rules.
You can possibly note it down.
What?
No, note it down. Write it.
That I'm sending this to you.
Oh. No, I wrote it
But
down.
I recommend taking a photo of that.
I'm taking photos. I said it's not.
You had all that time and you haven't copied any of them down.
That's not much.
Is it all? Yeah. Okay.
No. I got the copy again.
I think I already know what everyone's gonna choose.
Which one?
The first.
Yeah.
You're correct. How did you know? Oh, I know the others. Never mind.
What the heck? This one's like twice as long. Why would you choose this second one? But the second one does have a trick discussion. You can treat that as a passing note, and you can treat that as a passing note. Nope.
Does the first one have any passing notes?
No.
Passing.
Has everyone copied that down?
Yeah. So.
Here are your harmony rules.
Yes. Yes. It just takes a while.
By the way, do you know what chords are major and minor in a major key? You need to memorize.
Okay, it's two and six.
2 and 6 are minor, 1, 4, and 5 major, 3 is minor,
Minor.
and
7 is minor.
2 is 1.
Yeah.
2 is minor. 1, 4, and 5 are the only major chords in a major key.
When you start to complicate that out.
This is a very simple step. That's your step. Follow that. Follow this person.
Yeah, that's a lot worse. I need that.
Chord first. Playing chords first.
Playing chords first.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, it's like playing those chords. Then write the chord chart. That's the most logical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read that.
You got it right here.
Nah.
Also one. No, never mind. No. No. What? No. Look, I'm just serenade.
No, it's not chord.
You sound like you will. Can I please sit down without the zero concept?
I'm doing this.
Spring
Spring roll.
Can you play,
Oh wait, there was one. Oh my god, what was it called? Yes.
Close.
can you play Big Dreams?
Spring explosion. Yes.
No!
That was that was a really fun factory. I think that never sounds.
Look at this one.
Yeah, we did.
Let's need help.
Okay.
Oh, last chance.
Second, it's I would. Yes, but carefully hold to because that's the big consideration. Remember how I said plan goals in. And
That's fun.
that's the you can't remember the mechanics. Right.
I got help. I think I have to.
You can be a little
I have 1/6. What do you want to do then? I'm struggling. Yeah. I can't. I don't know what to do next. Five. Use right? As long as I see something like cool. Oh yeah, jadi kan betul.
Watch it, language. Yeah, watch it.
Have we already done 4 seasons?
No. What? And how did you guys before?
Oh, play it about
No, as like we've already
play
listened.
it about the city channel in my It's actually good. Like it is actually good.
Oh, look, yeah.
That actually did a most start of the channel in B class. Most of the channel, most of the city channel G class.
I got this. No, I know disconnected. That's the whole point. Oh, oops.
You don't have to succeed, right?
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah, but like whatever. Can we do wolves? Can we do wolves? Please.
The slower version.
It's so hard.
Not really.
Oh.
Whatever.
I need help.
When I saw that for the past few notes, I was like,
Yeah, what else can I do that?
Not even the right chords.
Which one?
By Samuel.
Because then the right chord.
You haven't even written your chord chart.
Yeah.
You want to skip 2 steps and went straight to step.
You're a big friend there. Haha.
How do I do that?
Just plan, just write a chord chart. That's really helps you plan your books. Because right now the chord notes are right.
That one is going to do this first. What?
I'm guessing that you two, since you're working together, should do it.
I'm not working together.
Can you please work together?
Oh, I'm joining them.
No.
I will finish first.
I'm joining.
You better be.
What?
How? How? Trigger one double when like one of the notes is already chosen for us.
What do you mean? Which one notes?
Because like, you see, you know how it's being double in notes, right? One of the notes is always chosen for us.
Instead of doubling D, you double A.
No, not this is the one. And I put the stuff here.
Okay, then too bad.
What do you mean?
You just have to choose. You're just got to do the normal way.
And then stop and through.
Yeah, it's already doubled it for you. You can't change that. Unless you want to change your chord, in which case, sure, go ahead. You can change 2 to 2/6 for a start. Actually, I probably should mention this. Preceding a cadence, especially perfect for play with a first inversion chord, sounds better than preceding it with a root position chord. Can you write your chord charts? You need to write the chord chart first. The chord chart. Yeah, the chart which you use to figure out your chords. How do I do that? Like this. Oh, okay. And it's done.
We can do something on the other.
What?
Then 6.
Yeah, consecutive 6 are actually better. You can have consecutive 6 or thirds. They sound really good. Just fifth and octaves sound terrible. Oh yeah, it actually explains it perfectly here.
I have one octave.
It explains it perfectly.
I have one octave. Is that okay?
No, no, absolutely not.
So you kind of have one.
No, you can't.
One here. Mine were me.
Yeah.
That's more than enough. You're on shuffle. Yeah, you can. I'm putting this one. Two. I have to roll. I have 3 more.
Done. Okay, and now the other chords. That's correct. That's a perfect cadence. Yeah. And now you need more chords. This is very cute. Huh? This is very cute. You sure? Huh? You sure? Yeah. Last night. Stop. Okay, stop. I'm gonna have to ask you to stop you right there. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
There's this thing that I always true.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
That's not true. So,
I have one, and I can tell you, it's not fun.
well, at least it's better than having a little brother.
Oh, I would love it.
No, you would.
You can take mine.
You can tell it's really bad.
I think mine. You take my order birthday if you want.
Thanks.
If I can't pay you. Yeah, no, but I'm so weird. Fuck.
That's your mom.
Why? And you just be like, why? So much. Well,
I think I'm doing it.
I think you should be because we're already gone like 10 minutes over. I just want to see you guys finish this. Or at least finish planning your chords. No, technically there's nothing wrong. It's unless you have consecutive fifths and octaves.
Okay,
You literally can't do this wrong. The only way you can do this wrong
Yes.
is consecutive fifths and yeah.
Definitely.
No, the only way you can do this wrong is wrong chord notes or consecutive fifths and octaves. Literally the only way to get this wrong.
Well, I should triple the root if I want to do it.
Yeah.
It can be
Only for major chords.
right chord notes for wrong stops. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
There is literally only two main requirements. Or I guess three. I guess three. Right chord notes. So basically 4-bar harmony, normal rules.
I did it.
Consecutive fifths and octave and vocalating. You can't go yet. Also 1-6 and 5-6 sounds really
Okay.
you do. I and you should as well. Because if you want to get full marks. Yes, of course it does. The point of music is that it sounds good.
Yeah, I haven't done it.
Huh?
I haven't done it.
Nice. Why does stems are
Okay.
okay.
Everyone is horrible. Go. So yeah, don't like
E F D A A. Oh no, that's wrong. No, that's wrong. I mean, yeah, why? No, the corners are right, but
I put them wrong.
the stems are. Honestly, I don't know how to.
I put another thing that makes this thing wrong.
Maybe okay. The only
If this prime and the alto are to
yeah. No. So 3 things. Okay, fine. 3 things that make it wrong.
Haha,
Basic harmony rules, like voice ranges,
You forgot one.
voice ranges, etc. Consecutive fifths and voices. The only thing, can we just switch the tenor and alto around because you have diamonds. Yeah, so every switch it.
But I don't
Almost.
It's fine.
We need to separate that giant leap and that giant. Honestly, that's more. I would suggest I would suggest, so firstly, put A. What? Oh, wrong corners. No, yeah, wrong corners. So firstly, chord 1 is I'm gonna write in text. So firstly, chord 1 is G, B, E, and then you can choose another note to double. Chord 5 is that's right. Chord 4 is right. Chord 2 is right. Yeah, that everything else is correct. Also, there's something wrong with this perfect cadence. You see?
Don't blame her.
She did.
He's already good. You are lazy.
There's something
I
wrong
can't
with
nothing, like, I'm finished.
like you don't have all the core notes for the cadence, and therefore the 5 doesn't have good voice leading. Here, and since the 5 doesn't have good voice leading, the 2 doesn't have good voice leading either. So did you work backwards?
Yeah.
Okay. I would so the whole point of working backwards is to ensure that you don't have these giant leaps. So make sure when you're working backwards, I would advise, write the core notes down underneath the stave, so you make sure that not anything.
I did all the boring work.
Like write all the core notes down like that, so you're making sure you're right.
Is this right now?
I still want this, but like
No, I know. Someone needs to teach me again. Wait,
literally the opposite of what you do. Yeah, but like aside from the steps, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's just visually hurting my brain. It's very visually torturous. Anyway, we're 15 minutes over, so we're finished. Goodbye.
I failed this by.
Bye. We're 15 minutes over. You got.
But I'm controlling.
Huh?
Like, is this like when we are like doing it like.
Well, I mean, technically that's not. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I'll do it when you get home. Okay, do that.
And I'll give it to you.
I've literally never seen you submit homework.
Huh?
I've literally never seen you submit homework like once in your life.
Oh, I did once. Don't worry, I'll send homework. I just couldn't. I do.
One and the other one, and that was me.
Look at this. Missing. Missing here. That's missing. That one you didn't even do correctly. And that's missing, and that's missing. I had a problem.
What was the other guy there?
I believe. No. Which guy?
The guy that goes missing with me as well.
Where? What you talking about? What the hell are you talking about?
Where am I?
Aston Wilson, right there.
That one there. What about this guy?
That's Lucas, man.
Lucas.
I just check his work normally.
Oh, Chen Jong.
Chen Jong is an out account of Sarah Chen.
Huh?
Chen Jong is the out account of Sarah Chen. And Sarah Chen has been doing on Twitter.
Lucas, why are you not handing your work?
Well done, Kenya, and well done, Phoebe. They've both been doing their work, Aston.
Oh,
No one's been chatting, man. Bye.
Oh, I think I should go.
No one can. People can't even spell bye correctly. That's just amazing.
right next to E, so like there's a chance of go.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
Guys, Michelle, cool.
Michael,
Cool.
Michelle.
Yeah, I can say that.
Michelle Static.
Michelle felt different. If you know what I mean.
Someone told.
Okay, we're finished.